Streaming. Welcome all my aliens, apes, and zombies. It's Crypto Novo back at it again with Craig from Craig's Coin Purse. Craig, how are we doing?
I am good, thank you. I'm very well. How are you?
Wonderful. I cannot complain. And we're just going to be looking at the markets here in a second. And if you look up on the pinned tweet at the top for all the listeners out there in formerly known as Twitter Spaces, but we can still call it Spaces, retweet that room. And you can look up above exactly what we're going to be talking about today. And it's kind of just like following the flow and the volume. A couple of weeks back, month back, heavy flow and volume from the NFT market into friend tech. That's taking a pause now because, once the markets push, it's like the ecosystem. It's the bloodline. It's the heart that fuels everything else. So, generally when you see Ethereum pump, developers are making more money, miners are making more money. That's more income in the ecosystem. There is actually more money coming into the ecosystem. You see it raising up to, $1.3 trillion now. And it's, it's not like in the low point, 1.31, 1.32 in that range. So that money gets distributed, and sometimes it would be called go down to the altcoins, but a lot of the times it goes down to these meme coins, is which what we're going to be focusing in here today with good friend Craig. Why don't you introduce yourself, a little bit about it, and whatever you want to talk about. We could go in any direction within this, but the markets are looking happy right now.
Yeah, hello everyone. For those who don't know me, my name's Craig, or Craig's Coin Purse from now known as X. I guess I'm your sort of local DGen who sort of, as Novo kindly mentioned, just tends to follow volume. So try not to have a bias towards where I chase the money. It's more about where I see money going and I'll go there. And lately, as Novo said, that had been friend tech, which is holding steady now, but probably is boring a lot of people. And from what I was seeing, a lot of the action's going back to shit coins at the moment. So yeah, probably chat a little bit more about that today. I will. I'm happy to just go over friend tech a bit as well, just for those who have been following me on that journey. Might be nice just to touch on that a little bit, and then I think Novo will chat a bit more about the market and maybe do a bit of a deeper dive into meme coins today, which probably might be what might interest a lot of people now, considering the money's there. Maybe it's time to brush up on our skills.
I agree because, it depends what you do. If you're holding for value long term, or if you're just maybe looking for percentage, and the markets go up, you might need to look into meme coins. But there again, none of the stuff you're listening to tonight, wherever you're at, it's night by me. It's daytime in another day for my friend on the line, Craig here. But just do your due diligence. We're just talking as friends here, catching up. So yeah, wherever you want to start, my friend, go for it.
Yeah, cool. So I'll quickly just go over friend tech and knock that one out of the way. Nothing really to report. Oh, sorry. I will say I've got some art behind me by an artist called Eminissa, I think is her name. He said Eminissa at EMINNISA_. This is something she did for me just as one of her friend tech holders. So that's a little bit of a shill for her there. She just did it for free for us holders. So I thought that was pretty cool. And it's just a modified Gucci ape of mine with a bit of a friend tech on the top. So thank you, Manissa, for that. Just going over friend tech once again, pretty boring, crabbing sideways. We've got a market cap of 41 million. It was about 43 last week. So not really anything to say really about it. It's going sideways as I've been mentioning over the last 3 weeks, what I thought it would do. It's doing what I thought, nothing either side. On a more positive note, the new users is increasing still a lot. Last I checked was about 830,000. It's probably a bit higher now. I'd have to check again exactly, but it's heading towards the 1 million now. And we've had 5 days of positive inflow versus 5 days of negative prior. So friend tech on a whole, crabbing sideways, holding steady. If you're a farmer, you're probably quite happy. This is a great position to be farming points where things aren't dipping. Look, it would be great if it was going up. But holding steady for someone like me, I'm happy just to, I parked a bit of Ethereum in there a while back, and if it keeps tracking sideways and I keep getting that sort of 10% points per ETH, I'm a happy gentleman. So as far as Friendtech goes, 20th of next month is when Blur Season 2 ends, just to remind people of that. I suspect when that season there ends and the farmers are able to have some liquidity given back to them, we may see it coming into Friendtech, which would make sense because the farmers that are on Friendtech are also on Blur, and the same backers are in both as well. So still thinking that's what's going to happen. Of course, anyone who's listening, I could be completely wrong. But at the same time, it's kind of nice for me to have what I've been saying the last sort of 4 weeks kind of play out. At least I feel like I'm still on track. And anytime I feel that I'm wrong, I'll definitely give you guys a heads up. Novo, how are you finding Friendtech at the moment?
More users on Twitter, formerly known as Twitter 1,000 between last week. 5,000 new followers this month alone, and Twitter's kind of dead. So, I mean, that is an uptick in it. Within that, posting things in there, not seeing a lot more conversation, but then again, I'm probably not adding huge value towards it in my space outside of dropping POAPs in there. Offering people chances to come on the show and talk. Law of the Saw, good to see you down there. You feel free to watch up above. They're up there in Paris Shilton. You can watch along. And JR Token, again, thanks for tuning in. And so within Frontech, I think it's kind of one of those same things, like wait and see. People are puddle jumping. They're hopping into other ponds, seeing what it's like. But they'll always come back to the mainstay. They're always...
Sorry to interrupt. Am I right that I saw a Stars Arena? Something happened with Stars Arena. I'm not sure what's happened now. I know they had their funds hacked a while back and they got some back. I just saw earlier today there was some drama with them and their developers or their owners or something. So that's one of the competitors I saw recently having a bit of a drama. So that's why I sort of said to people that were sort of hopping to these other ones, make sure you don't put too much money in these new ones where you don't know there's a big backer behind it, because, and not saying that's the case here, but just tread lightly on the derivatives that come out. They don't always they haven't always had the most planning, I guess is what I'm saying.
So and you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket, and maybe that's what people are doing is they're spreading it out, seeing what works for them. What I've always seen is whatever works usually works the best because people model it after whatever's first, and kind of sit and wait for me to see what happens. It is another platform where I can reach out to people. People can reach out to me. So, just maybe takes a couple seconds a day to loop in with that. So yeah, I'm going to still link in with Friendtech. And I think it's just kind of just shows what circle of communication realms you're in nowadays. With that, Elon Musk is saying by the end of 2024, the banking systems won't be needed because we can just use formerly known as Twitter for all these things. And he's just going to branch in different types of cryptocurrencies into whatever types of payments need to be processed through. What he's trying to do is be the new banking system of Web3, of Web2 as well, through just social media. And I guess that can maybe just give us a good transition into our next segment. Is just these markets are pumping right now, and we're seeing ups, and within everything, from the weekly to the monthly. If you wait a couple days and look at the yearly, the 40 to 50% gains you're going to see in Bitcoin are going to jump to like 80, 90% for yearly gains, which are things that kind of like set off algorithms within computers, showing those huge gains, which actually make news stories. So it's one of those things. You look at the fear and greed index right now, it's at 72 out of 100, which is in a greedy range. That's, I don't know, maybe the best time to buy. You usually want to buy when there's usually blood in the streets, but do what you want with this information. But let's talk a little meme coins, because that's what Elon Musk was probably going to do is just he probably invested into one of these coins and add it into the ecosystem, into his ecosystem, not create a new coin, but just add it in there and have the popular voice do what it wants with it.
Yeah, I mean, just to go off what you were saying about Elon Musk, that tweet he put out about obviously being able to use X as I suppose a payment gateway is massive. I'd actually got quite interested in Reddit last year because they were looking at doing something similar. I don't think they've managed to get much traction with it, but I sort of felt like anytime you've got a social media platform as big as, whether it's Facebook, Reddit, Twitter, or, formerly known as Twitter, introducing something like this, for me, that would be a massive catalyst for lack of a better word, for normies to really take notice. And also, I suppose, allow the unbanked to do cross-border payments without massive fees. So it's exciting just from a crypto, someone who's in love with crypto and was here because of the tech originally, which was me and possibly a lot of your listeners as well. And it's nice to see, I suppose, over the years, what we hoped would happen is kind of here. And I don't know if people are as excited about it as I thought they would have been, but I thought that was massive. I mean, imagine Facebook, or Instagram introducing payments. Like, it just blows my mind how it's getting so close to touching all those normal people who are going to be messaging us soon enough to say, what do I buy? And not only that, they're going to be able to go on Twitter, I suppose, and there may even be some meme coins amongst, the rest of them. Obviously, not obviously, but I dare say Doge will make it, wouldn't it? Being Elon's baby.
Well, I mean, not only that, but I'm thinking of where it's more centrally located, and that's more of like the Pacific Rim. And I think that's where we're going to see the next hotbed of NFT and Web3 explosion, because it's already integrated and embedded in a lot of the states, not only within China, but other areas within that Pacific Rim region. Anywhere from Korea to Japan, I hear is just woven with that tech savvy stuff, including with Ape Fest going on in Hong Kong. A lot of people that I would hear that who are already out there, who have traveled there prior, said that they are very tech forward with this type of stuff, as far as when you're going and buying a trinket or a toy, like your digital receipt is an NFT. So like you have that ownership saying that you did buy this. This is a Pokemon stuffed animal or whatever you're buying. So within that, the adoption of people's favorite coins, like a Dogecoin, which is at almost 7 cents. And for those of you listening right now, in about 15 minutes, I'm going to have a POAP, which I'm going to distribute. And on that POAP, I actually typed in the meme coin prices for today's date. So we can look at it in the future and just be like, hey, you know what? On October 30th, 2023, these were what the prices were on these meme coins. And, even today, I think I did it like last night when I made the meme, so it's probably like 10, 12 hours ago. So even today, it's already up 1 or 2%. So hang on for about 15 minutes here, and I'll distribute those POAPs. It does have a time sensitivity, so when we can distribute them at the half of the hour, we will release those. But Craig, what are your thoughts on Doge? I mean, I think Doge will make it through. I mean, people talked about like altcoins and alt springs, and there's so many altcoins like the last two halvenings that just never made it. I mean, if you think of like LSK links or anything like that, there's tons of them that you think that would make it, still floating around. I remember when Verge was like linked in with like BMW, and that thing shot up, and I was like, oh, this is gonna like be the coin that drives the next cars. And now I don't even know what it's at. But what are your thoughts on any of these coins?
I mean, Doge, I got into it sort of during the hype of 21, and luckily sold off before Saturday Night Live with Elon, which was obviously going to be a pump and dump event. But the only reason I didn't get really hyped on Doge is I wasn't in it early enough. Otherwise, I'd probably be raving about it. I think Doge is always going to have a place in crypto. I think it's kind of forged itself into the law now of crypto. Elon Musk always talks about irony and how, his sense of humor is always how, it's funniest when it's the most ironic and the most stupid coin becomes a currency. So I think he pushes it from that perspective amongst other ones. Look, I think Doge was one of the ones that sort of paved the way for the rest of the meme coins to kind of be able to walk, I suppose, and be taken more seriously than what they were at the time. So look, I'm a fan. I don't hold any, but only because I saw probably better opportunities elsewhere, newer, fresher things like that. I think
I view it like these, and I think NFTs, and I'll branch this into NFTs in a minute. I view it like this: it's an organic community that started something funny, a meme, right? Just like, hey, cool, like let's just put a dog out there that's pretty cute, and it's just like give it away to a bunch of people. Let's just see what happens, and then it builds and builds, and then all of a sudden, like it's making you $100, $200. It's turning people into thousandaires and 100,000aires and millionaires, and then they're like, well, what do I do? Well, we have a community here that wants to do something. They're energized. They're all based around one symbol. That symbol's the DOGE. And I don't know any of it. I never have. And within that, those community members choose what they want to do with it. So then, they create a website. It's just right there. You can look it on CoinMarketCap, and then just talks about the community, talks about the wallets, talks about Dogepedia. I don't even know what that means. And it just creates the community. Well, you can't buy millions of people. I don't know if it's in millions of wallets, but you can't buy hundreds of thousands of tech savvy people. But their community is based on a Dogecoin. So accepting that coin into other communities, saying, all right, now we're going to accept your coin on Amazon, on Facebook, on X or Twitter, then heck, now those community members, they're smiling ear to ear because what they started is bigger than normal currency that is based in some third world countries. And you could do the same thing to its, I don't even know, would you call it its sister, its cousin, Shiba Inu?
Yeah.
And
that's kind of made its way.
Made more of it that, will that even survive the next? And that's the thing. It's just like, it's like a meme of a meme, but like it still adds to, I don't know, gameplay. Another one is Pepe coin. Well, there's a meme from the meme, and within that, people are basing a community off of it. I believe there was a pump recently this week because some of the founders or owners actually burned a bunch of tokens when there were thoughts that they were selling it underneath the table. But you know what? Real deal, Holyfield. Coinbase has all these under the counter, what do they call them? Over the counter, under the counter trades that they do in big conglomerate bulks all the time. So, people got to get their own. I don't know anything within anything of it, but it did go up a pretty good chunk within this week. But then again, most did all the other ones. If you look at the monthly on just about anyone's, you're talking about, Pepe's up 50% within this month. Shiba Inu, we'll look at the monthlies, up 10%. But you just got to wait for that yearly to dip. The yearly on almost all of them right around November of this time last year is when we saw a big drop in all the markets. And then on Dogecoin, if we look at the monthly as well, it's up 13% just this month alone.
Yeah, those I sort of feel like just to go into, I guess we can sort of dovetail into the meme coins chat. It's interesting the divide, or not the divide, but what's going to compete for attention come the next bull run. That's what kind of gets my brain juices going. And you've got the old school ones like you mentioned, Doge and Shiba, and then you've got the newer school ones like Pepe. And it's like, is it going to be a case of, one of the OGs or first gets to go? Or is it the one that's imprinted in the traders that are here in the space at the moment's minds that are going to, I guess, convince the new money coming in, no, Pepe's the that's the fresh, sexy one now. And Doja, that's the old accountant's coin. You know what I mean? That's the people my age got into that one. But the new hip people, that's the Pepe coin. Doja's no longer quite so cool. And I kind of feel like Pepe may have knocked the shine off Doge, at least in my mind, a little bit. Doge for me was always kind of cool in the way that, was kind of so, I guess, a bit anti-establishment and went against the grain and things like that. But Pepe's also got a fairly rich history amongst degens with the memes and things like that with Matt Faree. So you sort of wonder if one of the big coins from this last shit or meme coin season run, being Pepe, is going to be the one that really in the bull outperforms the rest. And I think, just to go along with what you said before, we saw a 50% jump for Pepe this week, which I think might have been about, was that 200 million? Or 100 million, it had to, in market cap, it had to grow. Now, that's a phenomenal number. And it also, for me, is a massive sign of strength. And it shows me, again, Pepe's first mover, because what happened, and what sort of gave me the tip off that, meme coin season, well, people who have been around a long time will say season 4. For me, it's kind of season 3, and for lots of us, season 2. Now, when I saw that move and jump so sharply, I was like, here we go. Whoever the powers that be, they want this higher. And what you normally find is once the first mover moves so aggressively like that and goes up 50%, especially when the market cap's so big, it's different for another coin with a 100K market cap to double. That's no problem. It just takes 2-3 wallets to jump in, really big ones. For Pepe to move like that requires big volume, which means these large amounts of money coming back in, as we've seen when you mentioned with the crypto market cap. So it sort of gave me confidence that money that's on the sideline is now starting to, I think, trust or believe the bull run's here or coming, and they want to be in position, and they've chosen Pepe to be in position. Otherwise, we would have seen a Doge jump that was larger. In my mind, I could be wrong, but I look for clues, and Doge, while it did jump, Pepe going up that much made me think maybe that's the chosen one this cycle. But hey, you could hedge your bets and have both. I don't see any problem in doing that either.
I always hedge bets, and there again, when I mean bets, hypothetical, wink, wink. None of this is financial advice, but on the ones that aren't on Coinbase yet. So
Correct.
just wait for that Coinbase bump, because that is going to give you that instant people that just have access to get to these things by phone rather than linking in through a MetaMask wallet, a side chain, a decentralized application, a market that you can reach globally, because some of them you can't reach in the US right away. So getting it before it hops on and reaches that Coinbase bump was cyclical in my mind of the markets, because that's how I got into XRP. I got into XRP at just under 3 cents before I hit Coinbase. And then next thing you know, it's at almost 30 cents. And it's just like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. And then you just look for the next altcoin that's just going to hit before it got on Coinbase. And Coinbase actually released back in the day a list of the potential ones that were going to come out next. And that was the alpha all I needed for a while. So what's the next meme coin that's going to go? What's the next one that's going to hit? Well, I mean, Pepe is based on traditional art and almost like the NFT aspect of it, which has already a pre-established community base that people see it and know what it is from generations of people. And for those of you who are tuning in right now, you can go up to the top, the pinned tweet up there, Paris Shilton, and then also Craig, yours, you can pin it up there too. Either one of ours, you can tune in and actually watch exactly what we're talking about. We're thumbing through, looking at stuff within the overall market volume, market cap as well, because market volume is going to add to volatility, and volatility up or down creates more trading. More trading creates more commerce within the ecosystem. And I always see those things helping people level up to buy digital art. And I think those things are definitely two things that go hand in hand, where if you have an explosion in cryptocurrency and money going into the ecosystem, that money definitely gets distributed down into NFTs, Web3, digital art, all the things that are incorporated within it. Just like Pepe here, where the art kind of got revitalized during the pandemic times. Lots of tweets going out, this and that, making short fun of people, and all of a sudden it's attached to a coin that gets centralized and their own website here. I think it's pepe.vip. That was what was on the Coin Market Cap website. Shows you that there's 400, whatever number that is, because there's so many zeros after it, 6,900, so many zeros after it. And it actually talks you through of how you can get it on Uniswap and other ways. So it's right now an educational platform. Shows you what exchanges you can get them on as well. And I believe they're going to open up a little bit of phase 1 meme, 2 vibe and hodl, and phase 3 is the meme takeover. So there you go. There's the roadmap. Simple, and look what it's whizzing on, all that jazz too.
It's interesting the position they put themselves. Looking back, it kind of all made sense, but I mean, that's easy to say in hindsight to a degree. But also what you said hit the nail on the head, and that's one of the points I was going to make when we were sort of going to go over today a little bit about what I think makes a meme coin make it versus what doesn't. And one of the main things you've got to have is an active community that rallies around something that's more than just money. Money's great and price going up's great, but that will end when the next money opportunity comes, right? Versus people wanting a sense of belonging. And I suppose that's when meme coins kind of clicked for me, was coming from an NFT background, if you want to call it that, is that NFT sort of clicked for me when I thought, geez, I like the belonging to a community. And it felt you can interact with people. It was quicker to connect. You could meet people you may not have met prior. Yeah, I guess a common interest is a better way for me to explain it. And sort of meme coins came along, and I think with NFTs taking such a dive, which is sad, but I almost feel through no fault of their own, more from what's the word? Founders not delivering what they said they would. And people like me maybe getting disheartened, and other people being like, well, that didn't go like we planned. And then I sort of found something more simplistic, which was a meme coin, where you could rally behind a community. But as you saw on that Pepe website, the roadmap, that basically that roadmap says there's no roadmap. Meme takeover vibe and hodl. That's just rally around a token, rally around the art, and I suppose rally around what that token stands for.
But what if they just put like a T-shirt, not even a line, just a T-shirt out there for sale? And I mean, that would just people buy the heck out of it. That's all they would need.
I'd buy it. Just yeah.
I mean, just like I mean, it's just ignorant of me. I've asked, does like someone own Pepe? Is there like ownership of it? Like, does someone? I don't know. I have no idea.
I guess it's a tricky one, because I would say Matt Faree, the artist, although he was first, wasn't he? I'd probably need someone better than me on a history lesson of the art here. I'm not too sure. So does someone own it? I suppose if someone did, they would have attacked Pepe about this already. But then Pepe, how do you get to the dev? How do you find out?
Yeah, I mean, right now the overall market cap for it is, let's see, what is that? 400 something million. So like, yeah, market cap 492 million. It's 73rd overall within it. And the volume, last volume, it's a little bit lower at 33% overall traded. But like, imagine all that sitting on the sideline for someone who made it. And like, all right, there's a coin that's named after me, and there's a market cap of almost $500 million sitting there. And I probably made maybe just a couple million off it, maybe a couple 100,000, maybe nothing. I have no idea. Artists probably don't make anything. Right now, you can make yourself or claim yourself that is a POAP. it is POAP time, and they made it
Mm.
very easy to claim this POAP. Well, first you need you need to go to POAP to get it, and if you go into POAP, you can enter a secret word, and the secret word is meme. MEME, and then you can claim this POAP. And on this POAP, on this very date, it has the prices for different meme coins that we have in there. And you can take a look maybe in the future now to see what they are about. From Doge to Shiba Inu, from even I put some metaverse ones in there: Axis Infinity, Sandbox, Mana, Flow, Galacoin, ApeCoin. I put them all in there so you can look back on it in the day. So you can just go to POAP, or if you have a POAP, you can just type in the secret word. The secret word is meme, MEME. You have 30 minutes to claim it. So if you're listening to this on record, just hop into my friend tech chat, and there are POAP codes in there. So if you ever need a POAP there, I just drop them in my friend tech chat. Good, perfect storage spot for that. So you can just get in there, and I drop all the POAPs in there. And this one's not linked to anything, but sometimes they are. Last week we gave away a comic book. If you are prior listeners to episode one, what was it, 187 and 188, maybe 186, those all had an entry into winning a AR comic book from End of the World Pizza, which is currently minting. I don't think he has very many left, and they are attached to physical comics that you show your phone on with an AR filter application, and the comic book comes to life, and you can play video games on it. So you want the next tech and the tech stuff that's out there, get that. If you want to keep it slow and just claim the POAP to go for listening to tonight's episode, there's a wrap for you. You could claim it by just typing in meme, MEME, lowercase for all those, and the secret word. If not, just DM me. I can send you a POAP too. Not that big of a deal. Probably not for a while. The art there is by Nate Bear. On the bib of the art, there is a frog, just like Pepe. And Pepe the Frog's right there. So I thought it was perfect for the occasion. That was an NFT that I owned. So might as well throw up the frog to get that kind of smirky, devilish, whatever you call, smile that he has going on. That kind of brings that mischievous look to all of our faces.
It's definitely got a smirk to his face, doesn't he? So good.
What's in the future for that? Let us know if you have a favorite meme coin. Feel free if you want to come up and chat. The other voice you're hearing up there is the co-host you hear, Craig. But we are live video, so we don't get a reverb on our microphones. You can watch it live up above. Multiple people watching on YouTube, a couple people watching on Twitch. Link over to, let's see, you got a couple pair of people watching on your YouTube channel, is not your YouTube, but your Twitter handle as well, and that's at Craig's Coin Purse, with Craig with an S and Coin Purse all one word. And the Novoverse has 3 viewers as well, so a couple dozen viewers watching. Thank you guys for listening as well, as we are talking about the markets. Ethereum is above $1,800. Which is a nice uptick, which is market cap. It's up 1% today compared to yesterday. The meme coins that are out there, Dogecoin. Let's take a look. Is there any other meme coins that you could think of right now? I mean, would you consider like ApeCoin a meme coin? I mean, are the apes like memeable? Is that why people are known for them? Would that be classified as that? What's the utility of ApeCoin? There is a surge in ApeCoin right now due to, I believe, due to what's happening out in Hong Kong with Ape Fest. What are your thoughts on ApeCoin, I guess?
Yeah, I was in ApeCoin, and I did quite well when it was pumping, and it obviously took a massive hit. And I guess that was from the staking rewards being sold off, which was always going to be the concern about that coin. Is you obviously had people staking, and I rode it during that period. But then obviously as price or volatility came in, you saw those people who were staking, who were earning massive amounts of APY, were selling off, and obviously that's just putting constant sell pressure on the token. So I got out I got out when it was about $6, $5, and it's maybe $4. So it's kind of taken a big hit since then. Thoughts on the coin? I mean, I've got a soft spot in my heart for the coin just purely because it's.
Let's stop you. People are going to hate me for this. I sold a bunch of it, and I had a tweet to show it. You have to do the math on it.
What did you sell it at? $20 or something, or
at about 21.88, almost
sale.
at the top. And it was when everything was going nuts. The nights of quotas were coming out, this and that. I'm like, you know what? I've seen this play out before. It was all free ApeCoin right then. I'm like, I can always try to buy back in later.
Man, you can buy 20 times the amount now.
It is. I'm not going to. I'll tell you that much. I don't know what it's going to go in. I don't know the value of it. I am so lost from that ecosystem. And on usually this time on Mondays, we are in Storyverse, and I'm getting the lowdown on what is happening within the gaming aspect of it. And I can't just sit there and farm game like some people do. It's just I can't have that grind, and I don't know how you'd get paid in ApeCoin enough to turn that into something feasible. And actually, one reason I got in more into cryptocurrencies because I was playing Clash of Clans a lot, and I'm like, what am I doing? Like trying to maximize my elixir castles every so often when I could just be actually starting Ethereum charts. And that's exactly what I did. And I got into pretty much leverage trading Ethereum because markets were going absolutely crazy, and you just see the algorithms within it. And within that, I'll say that right now is the Bollinger Bands and where the Bollinger Bands rest. And I know this from years of trading experiences. Right around that 1777 range, there's Bollinger Bands. And I don't know if that's a computer algorithm. I don't know if that's trader thing. But if you look right here on the chart, I'm going to pull it on a larger screen right here. This is where that number gets pulled a lot. Lucky numbers, or maybe it's a number that is sticking in my head because it's never exactly there. I mean, it can always weigh within $15 or $20 of that. But right around that under $1,800 mark right there, you see it as resistance when it falls, resistance when it's raising, and support when it falls multiple times. You can see it right here in February, right around February of 2021. You can see it there again when it falls down in July of 2021. You can see when it plateaus just for a second in June of 2022, and then it rebounds back up to that range almost as a peak in August of 2022 when people thought was going to be a hype cycle, and then again helps us out in April of this year, and now we're tickling the toes of 1777 once again, and 3 strikes you're out, and it's pushing the
limit. That chart looks good, man.
Third time in a row. So the chart on Ethereum is usually right around there. You have to mix that in with volume, and you see the peaks in the volume every time, up or down. It doesn't matter which way it's going, but you'll see it, and you see those strong forces of the candles within those upticks. I can't zoom in quite big enough for the last one that just occurred, but there is a huge uptick, and that was the uptick that we were talking about last week in October 22nd, which was a week ago, and we were talking, it was a Sunday night, so 8 days ago. And we saw that rise just pretty much on the news on the occasion of what was happening within the ecosystem of the slow leakage of, cryptocurrency, especially Bitcoin, going into possibly ETFs. And they're not just going to rip the Band-Aid off and just have it a splash. They're slowly leaking it out there, I think, kind of on purpose. So it's not a big, huge news story like, what happened? It just did this. Like, no, they'll slowly leak it out there. So 1777 on Ethereum. If you look Bollinger Bands on here, which I don't have the right charts or graphs on here, there's heavy trading volatility in there. So right now, people are either thinking crap or get off the pot. Am I going to sell because I'm breaking even because that's generally when they bought it? Or they're buying when there's blood in the streets saying, all right, I can sell now and maybe buy back in cheaper later? Or is it the threshold of, hey, this is the next level up, my last chance to get on board before it does go up to whatever range is next? And that's usually even numbers at $2,000. And I'm just talking Ethereum, years of experience. There again, none of his financial advice, just things I've seen in the past.
It looking at that chart you were showing then, it really looks to me like between the 1800 and 2000, if it flips that into support, we could see a pretty juicy run for Heath.
Well, there's nothing above it. And Bollinger Bands are the amounts of things that the amount of volume that's traded within a price range. And that's why you see such huge arcs, because there's nothing above it. So like if you want to buy in, everything you're buying in is at profit on someone else.
That's right.
Unless you're minting, unless you're mining, I'm sorry.
Yes.
So then that's when the mining rigs are going full go. They're making tons of money, hiring more people, buying more computer components, buying more rigging, which is adding more money to the tech manufacturers that are making chips, that are making small fans to cool things off. Now they're looking into more technologies of putting them in the oceans for cooling centers to keep them cool during proper areas for eco-friendly, so they're not wasting money. So it's just a cycle of just where this money is going to go. And if you look at that Ethereum chart of all time, I mean, bang, you're talking well north of $4,000 in 2021. Really, that's not that long ago. I mean, 2 years, 3 years, which in financial markets isn't that much. And we've gone through tremendous, horrible times since then, as far as, geopolitical in different phases within transfer of power in the United States to different wars in different areas, which we don't need to talk about. But does that strengthen the markets in having that borderless transaction of having your currency be anywhere, with unstable governments being put up, unstable currencies, currency wars that I believe that aren't even noticed right now, because we're fighting inflation, we're fighting this, we're fighting that, we're fighting tariffs. So is this your safe haven in a sense? I did hear back in the day, there again, please do your own research, and in Mad Money, it was somewhere that you can invest 2 to 3% of your investment portfolio, just your investment portfolio, not your overall portfolio, into cryptocurrency. So if you have $100 just in investments, because that's your safe money to invest, just put 2 or 3% into cryptocurrency. Now, $2 or $3 isn't going to do you much if you only have 100. But if you only have $100 and you're trying to make it by in this world, if you had that $100 sit in your pocket, it's going to buy you less later in life, unfortunately. Products, things that you need.
Yeah, that's right. And I mean, it's been quite good to be able to chat with you each week over the last sort of, 4 weeks. Is you can it's interesting as I refer back to my notes. You kind of really start to feel you're in a bull market, which has been very different to how, speak on spaces and looking over my numbers, say over the last 6 months to a year. It felt definitely like a bear, right? I mean, no doubt we're in one, don't get me wrong, but it for me now, unless the price takes a massive dump, I'm convinced we're in one. I mean, we've bounced 2x off the bottom, so it's either the most massive bull trap or we're in a bull run, the early stages, maybe the disbelief stage. Which is what it feels like to me. And, I kind of, looking at that chart, Novo, you may want to bring it up. I can't remember the name of it, with the disbelief and the different stages of a trader's emotional feeling throughout the
fear chart, fear and greed chart. And we're just diving in on Coin Market Cap. I like it. You can go on to any of the cryptocurrencies within there. You can find how to trade it off market. You can find the websites for it. You can find out a lot of things, but it also shows the fear and greed index, how greedy people are.
And I'm just noticing at the moment, there's still, and I spoke about this last week, and I was one of those people included, when Bitcoin hit that sort of low of about 17,000, and we've just, it's actually done it perfectly, a nice slow grind up. And that's really from a trader's perspective, or I suppose someone like me looking from a distance. If we had hit 17, had a massive pump to 25, there's no way I'd be saying, oh, it's a bull market. This is great. It almost would feel like a sucker's rally then. But the slow grind up with just nice cool off periods and that, it's like, I almost feel like looking back in years to come, in a couple of years, I'm going to look back at this moment and go, it was so obvious. And it just doesn't feel obvious at the time. But I remember the same feeling when Bitcoin was 69,000 and it dumped. And I remember the feeling at 69 when it dumped, thinking to myself, nah, this isn't the end.
No,
and you kind
not.
of get in this like coma.
All right. Now, first of all, if you're just tuning in or you tune in, claim that PO app. Claim that PO app right now. Just type in meme in your passwords for PO app. And also look above, because there's a chart above that. This chart is pretty dang awesome. And
I love this chart, dude.
It's like the Bitcoin rainbow chart. I just typed that in. I can't remember the actual whatever chart is called, but you look down, it says the rainbow chart. And if you look right here, whenever it's in the blue, they tell you to buy. And if you buy in those ranges in there, and it shows you, you know, the ranges with the years on the bottom and the price range on the top. And then slowly when it goes in the green, every time it goes in the green, there's this trajectory where it goes green to yellow almost instantly.
Yeah, post-halving.
When I say instantly, it's like 3 months. So
quick, though, that's quick.
Look where we're at right now, my friend. If you look,
yeah, it's looking so juicy.
I'm enhancing on the wrong screen here. I think I could zoom in. How do you zoom in on this? I'm zooming out. Let's see. If you zoom out on it, it just is now, after this last current run, is just now tickling the green area. Oh, wow. It has really good analytical data here. Oh, here it is.
Yeah, cool.
It's just tickling, and look how many times it's tickling the green area. 1, 2. Here's the third time it's going up into that green area. And, you know, usually when it's testing something 3 times, it's usually breaks through. If you look down at the other one, the last halvening, the last halvening, it was a little bit, rapidly increased a little bit quicker. It touched it once, twice, and then it ejected up to the major rally that we had in 2017. And then the halvening prior to that, here again, 1, 2, 3, and then it jacks up. So, I mean, we're looking at that same type of rebound. And if you want to talk about something that's cyclical, look at this. It's just mirrored every halvening, same thing. Once it passes that halvening line, since it's deflationary currency, it's harder to produce. Bitcoin gets more rare, and it just increases within popularity. And when popularity increases, so does value.
And the interesting thing as well is just from a psychological perspective, you know, people like me and you, we've looked at these charts, we've looked at the data. So it's kind of an interesting phenomenon. Is the chart correct, or is it human psychology that plays into the chart? But at the same time, the answer is it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The same outcome occurs.
And here's the thing is every time it's gone up into the red, and the red chart on this one for the next rally would be, let's just say June of 2024. It has at the high Bitcoin between 200 and 270,000, mid-range 150 to 200,000, orange range 118 to 153. So I mean,
wins.
That's crazy. Think of where it's at right now. And like,
I'm going to buy Bitcoin right after this chat.
Don't you dare. And if you do, and it does peak to this, then on June 6th, fly me down to Australia, and I'll bring you some nice Chicago steaks. We'll put a steak on the hobby down there. You get some nice shrimp. I'll bring the steak from Corn-Fed, Wisconsin, up here. And we'll toss it on there. We'll have a nice steak.
Man, I would love to do that. And it's interesting looking at this chart. If you ever look back at the last bull run, you can see how people like me that it was my first bull run, and you can see how people like me got caught off guard. You can see how just was shy of the dark red, right? And it tippy-toed into the orange/darker red. Sorry, back here. If you look in 21, Novo.
Got it.
21. Yeah, there you go. You see that double top?
Yeah,
and that's where I got greedy, man. It wasn't quite there, and I wanted 30 more K, and I can't believe I made that mistake. And here's a lesson to all of you. If you're in massive profit, don't let greed get in your way. Take a bit of money out, take a bit of profit, not financial advice. But if I had to go back to myself and chat then, take a bit off the table and wait to see if it cools down, because how much more do you want to make when you're 3x up?
Take a bit off the table, find a friend, fly them out,
Yeah.
have some steaks, talk about
Stay
it.
sober.
And then, there's always another day you can buy back in. And that's usually when there's blood in the streets, when something happens, when the internet crashes. I mean, think of when the internet crashes, it's eventually going to happen in our lifetime. The internet, everything's going to go to heck for a couple seconds, but then maybe that's the time.
And the other interesting thing with that chart is have a look at the second exit it gave us. It actually gave me a second exit, and would you believe I didn't really take that one either? Because I thought I was so, and here's a lesson to all the traders out there: reevaluate your plan consistently. And if the data and if the information you're seeing doesn't agree with your original plan, change it. And I remember, just a real quick little rant here, I remember a conversation. I did the last bull run with a friend of mine. And a piece of advice to any trader out there: get someone you know and trust that you can chat to every day or every hour about what's happening in the market to kind of give you sober advice. And he said to me on that second top, and he trades TA very successfully, he said, Craig, take your money out or take your profit. And I said, no, I set a plan at the start of the bull and I'm sticking to it. And I remember saying those words to him. I was outside and I was having a smoke, and I said those words: I have a plan and I'm sticking to it. While that might work in other areas in life, in trading with something that changes so dynamically, sticking to a plan may not always be the best plan when you've got information suggesting otherwise. So that's something I've learned in the last bull run, and I intend to apply to this one. And hopefully I can, help people out there. Maybe not in telling you what to buy, but just in the little lessons I learned along the way, which hurt, but at the same time, sometimes it's good to use that pain to. I will never forget that conversation. I can tell you what time, where I was, everything. And it was just a moment of stubbornness where I believed I'd done my research, and that's what it told me was going to happen. When all the data was saying, Craig, it was close, but not quite. And I hung in there and had to wear sort of, instead of copping a 3x gain, I basically broke even, really. And sure, it wasn't a loss, but it could have been much better. Could have been much, much better. So there's a lesson to all of you people that, keep looking at the data. I'd also ignore a lot of noise on Twitter when the time comes. Find people that you know and trust. Find a mentor. And another point I was going to bring up today, when we were talking meme coins, one of the best things I can suggest to you guys is find someone you look up to that you trust and connect with them. And hey, I might be that person for some of you. And reach out to me, connect with me, say hi. Don't just ask me what you should buy. That's not going to get my attention. But if you want assistance or advice, I'm more than happy to tell you how I found life. But I've sort of aligned myself with mentors out there as well in the crypto market that are much smarter people than me. And I know there's people that look up to me, but there's people that I look to for information who I'm messaging them every day. Hey guys, I'm looking at this. What do you think? Am I right on this? And I would suggest you guys do that before the bull comes, because when it comes, you're going to see a lot of sort of false prophets come out of the woodwork.
And all you hear about is people's profits, and like, oh, I just did this, I just did this. That's when you don't really want to buy someone else.
No.
Is it Enzine Crypto? You're welcome for the POAP. You still have 4 minutes to claim that POAP. Type in meme, MEME. Sorry. It's one M followed by an E, another M followed by an E. Money Morris, thank you for calling me the GOAT. I appreciate that. Do I think ApeCoin is a good investment? I had a whole bunch given to me for free for having an ape and a dog and a mutant, which I got rather cheap because I was in the game early. So I actually sold a lot of it when I got it. So choose what you want to do with that. Do I think it will pump when other side metaverse comes out? depends how many people use it and what they're using it for. I know fans were angry when they had some type of game come out and the prize pool just really wasn't worth people's time and they had to bump that up. So, it just depends what the fans want to do with that. But I believe the more money that is in the ecosystem, as far as the overall market cap, will be the determining factor of what these things are worth. And if you go in a little bit into the future here,
Crazy numbers.
this is about 10 years from now. Let me see, November. Let me see. And on the high end, it has Bitcoin at 2.5 million. And on the low end, when it says you should basically buy more, it is at 400,000 to 500,000. So that is 10-year prediction from right now. It also has a range at the top of this chart, the rainbow chart we're looking at, of when to buy and sell. So, if it's in the blue, it's a fire sale, so buy up. It's in the lighter bluish green is to buy. Green is accumulate. Lighter green is still cheap. Yellow is just hold tight. Blue is this a bubble? Orange is FOMO intensifying, or is FOMO intensifying? And you notice once it gets to orange, it just skyrockets. And that's
when your friends and family will start messaging you asking how to buy. And that's probably when you look to take some off the table shortly.
You're right, because right after that, it gets into that orangish red where it says sell, seriously sell. And then when it reaches the red, which it always does, max bubble territory. So, right now it's in the blue, my friends. That's why we're talking about it now. You're going to see these continued conversations going on, not only here, but in other spaces, because when things are going up and down and people are making maybe a little bit of money, it makes news and people want to talk about that. And I even had a coworker at work ask about it today and looked in on his base account and says, I'm still down, and that's the thing is he bought it at the hype of the market, but then he's just like, well, maybe should I sell it and just recoup some losses now? What's this, that, and going on? And then he knows a little bit about my background. And I'm like, well, why did you buy it at whatever price you bought it back then? Like, what was your thought process? Well, I thought it was going to be this, and that. I'm like, well, do you still think it's going to be this, and that? Do you think it is going to be, the cryptocurrency of the world? Do you think it is going to be the next coin of the world? Do you follow that at all? Do you see what it's going to turn into? And nobody knows. But all I know is communicating, talking about it. One is not only fun for me, but two, keeps my ear to the floor of trying to see what's two steps ahead.
Yeah, and just to speak about those Bitcoin prices, which I know to a lot of people, I think one of them was like $1 to $2 million for a Bitcoin in 10 years, or 2.5, sorry. And, people listening to that, maybe younger people listening to that now would be like, oh, that's crazy. How could Bitcoin hit that? But, it's basically based upon inflation, really. And to give you a real world example, just for the younger people in the room on inflation, you take something like my house, which 10 years ago could have been purchased for about, say, 140,000 Australian, right? Now it's $1 million Australian. So that's about a 7x in 10 years. Now, if you had told the owner of this property, then in 10 years' time, it will go 7x, they would have told you were crazy. But here we are. And that's just mainly because the value of the dollar's decreased, not because the value of the house has increased. So that's something to keep in mind with Bitcoin. When you say 2.5 million, it's hard to fathom that, because you're like, 2.5 million, why would it be worth that? It's worth that because the dollar we're making a bet, well, not we, some of us are making a bet that in 10 years, the dollar's going to be worth a lot less than it is now. And if you look at the data agrees. It's gone down. So will it stop going down? I don't know, but it hasn't ever. So, maybe
there's going to be less than 21 million Bitcoin. And think about it. If once it starts getting in that range of, I don't know, think of how many people will just collect it just to collect it. How many millionaires are out there just like, oh, I can waste $100,000 on this. Oh, I can waste $50,000 on this just to have it, just like they have a Fabergé egg or a Ferrari or a this or a that.
I think they'll want one Bitcoin, won't they? I think that'll be the thing, a whole one. It'll be, we want one.
And then it's just like, oh, I remember back in the day when I believe the Kardashians, there was like a big Christmas present where it's just like, you have your Bitcoin. It's just like, I have one, but like those, I wouldn't say those type of people, but there's people like that just would never sell it. So then all of a
21
sudden,
million is not a lot. You think about how many millionaires or billionaires out in the world, and then take 21 million. And I think about it, and sometimes it's times like that when I think, geez, I wish I'd gone bigger soon on this, but everything takes time. But it's the way the world is going, and the Novo, you spoke about this, and we won't go on about it, but the wars in the world and financial markets collapsing and banks going in debt and being propped up by the governments. You look at the life rafts or the safe havens out there financially. You could look at precious metals like gold, silver, etc. Silver. I recently sold some silver, and it's that's usually a slow mover, and that did a 2x in 2 years. So people are moving their money to these assets. Don't worry about it. Silver to do a 2x in 2 years is phenomenal. Gold as well. So if you see things like that tracking up at that trajectory, how long is it till people? I mean, I've had this chat with my wife before. If you're someone who needs to move quickly, what would you rather have? Some Bitcoin in a wallet, or bars of gold that sort of hold you back and weigh you down that you can lose or get stolen? I know what I'd prefer to have. I wouldn't want something that can be taken from me so easy as, hey, give me that rock. So, yeah, that's why it sort of made sense to me. And, I could end up being very wrong about it, but just, being on the world a little bit longer than 10, 20 years, you start to think, well, even if you don't believe in it, it's probably not a bad place to put a little bit of, even if it's chump change, even if it's pocket money.
diversify too. I mean, people that generally have bars of gold, they might have a little extra scratch laying around. I know there's a store in the States here. It's called Costco, and they sell bulk of a lot of things, and they were started to sell bars of gold. I don't know if it's like a couple grams or an ounce or a pound. I don't no idea, but they don't have it in stock. It's just, it almost shows the gluttony that like people have. Like almost every kid has an iPhone, an Apple Watch, all the Apple products. It's just like $3,000 worth of technology they're walking off on them. So like, what is the next thing they need? What is the next thing out there? I have someone texting in right now the show asking, I know all the crypto has been way more fun than the IRL boomer stuff.
It has been, man. Yeah, way more fun.
Another question rolling in from Money Morris 7. Will ApeCoin pump when the other side metaverse is released? I would imagine, because there's just going to be more people looking towards that ecosystem, and they have a lot riding on it too. So
I think what will happen for sure is it'll pump prior. And it will sell off on. So sell the news, buy the rumor, sell the news. Whether it picks up, but I'll certainly be trying to time. I mean, will ApeCoin go up over time? Novo, you hit the nail on the head. It completely depends on the success of the other side. But from a pure gambling or betting perspective, if you're going to take a punt, not bad to take a punt on a token that's got a real world utility to it, whatever that might be. There's a product at least being attached, while at the same time, it relies on the delivering versus a meme coin, which has a pretty picture, which can sometimes just go up. That doesn't rely on CEOs at a desk. So yeah, look, I'm optimistic, and to be honest, I hope ApeCoin does really well, because if ApeCoin does really well, other sides doing really well, and that means a lot of us are doing really well. That we're
a lot of ape owners are doing well. A lot of happy people in the space. I agree.
Yeah.
I hope moons and rockets, and I also view it almost like what to say what up to Corey. What's going on down there, my friend? I also the thought on the application using Unreal Engine on Fortnite, which is a free game, and how people just use V-Bucks, which is a fake currency, to buy different skins within the game. Could be the same thing here, where you have your generic ape clothes and X, Y, and Z, and then you can add bunny ears to it if you use your ape coin, and then now they can use that to almost turn that into a deflationary coin. If they use that as a burn mechanism, as anytime something is bought, then it gets burned, or just to create commerce and have it tradable. So there is more value, so that you can add flex to your gaming appetite as you're playing. So I pray for success with that, because that just will pave the way for other coins to follow in a gamified way, other NFT projects to add to a roadmap, because why not just follow the best? But plus, it's such a huge, important ecosystem that needs to be fed well. And with all that, games can come sponsorship real easily. Some of the That's why they have esports and esports Olympics, and the money that goes into those, and those, they call them athletes, gaming athletes. Money that goes into them. I mean, a lot of them are making 6, 7 figures easily playing in that type of stuff. So if they can base that around a game, or an engine that they are providing towards the Web3 community, I hope ApeCoin does magnificent.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna wind it down here. We've been going an hour strong. If you missed out on the POAPs, you can just DM me. We'll be back, I believe, next Sunday. We're just gonna kind of be
Yeah,
doing jam and do
awesome.
the same thing. Maybe talk some shoes. I got some artifact shoes delivered to the house that I've opened up.
Those look cool, man. Those look sick. I was jealous. I saw you pop those up. I was like, damn.
Take a gander at those, and
Mm.
hit me up on Front Deck if you have something that you want to talk about, show off, listen into. We can. I'm gonna have JOC probably on maybe next week or the week after. It is Native American Heritage Month next week. Want to draw some attention towards that. Maybe he can come on and perform or talk about situations that's happening in his neck of the woods, literally up there on the U.S. and Canadian border, up in the New York upstate area. So we'll tune in and get some culture, see what's going on in this Web3 world. But then also, I want to keep on tuning into these markets, because I think we're here. I think we're in one right now. And
Yeah, I think we're right. We're at the right place at the right time, where I think everyday people might be able to get a win, and that's nice to be able to talk about. I think rather than you and me gloating about the 10x we made, I'd rather be on the ground level where, these are the moments where I'm buying, and I'm certainly not saying for anyone else to follow my lead, but I remember last bull market when you had YouTubers talking about the 1,000X's they made. By the time you hear about them talk about it, it's too late. They're dumping on their viewers. So I'd like to see people do it with a bit more integrity. And I think, Novo, you're a great example of someone wanting to do that. And that's why
all we're going to do is, when it happens, we're just like, yo, you should look at our videos on October 30th and October 22nd and this. And like, when none of this is financial advice, but when we were showing you the charts, we were showing you the resistance lines, talking about Bollinger Bands, just trying to educate in general scenarios. Because maybe if you do have a project you're building and it's not cryptocurrency based, or you are hanging around in the friend tech sector, these things are all correlated. They're all work together. More money in the ecosystem is more money in the ecosystem, and it gets diversified as long as you're an active participant. Find your avenue, stay in that pathway, stay in your lane. Educate yourself by listening to spaces and other spaces. Do your own research. A lot of the research that you're following on social media might not be factual. I'm not saying anything I'm saying is factual, but I've seen these markets happen before, and I just want to talk about them. And I bring on someone who I trust, Craig, who has also been in these markets before. And he's also from the future, because it is another day where he lives compared to me. Thank you for coming on this Monday. We'll be back on our normally Sunday shows. The Chicago Bears put up a pitiful performance last night that delayed the show to today, but I'm still there. I'm still a fan, and I'm still a fan of this cryptocurrency market. Check your charts, put down the phones. I stopped Clash of Clans, nothing against that. Good friends with Justin Waldron from Zynga. Don't want to say anything negative about that, but I just picked up a chart and started looking at it and following charts, because sometimes math doesn't lie.
That's right.
Actually, I don't think math ever lies. So follow the tools that you know. I'm trying to provide that access to a tool. Thank you for tuning in for myself. And Craig, anything else to add at the end here?
No, Nova, thanks for having me. Thanks for everyone that tuned in. And look, great chat. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I hope someone out there got something out of it. And look forward to chatting a lot more about it.
Right there, Money Morris 7. Great teaching lessons today on crypto. You are welcome. Maybe I should read that better. Great teaching lesson on crypto today. You got it, my friend.
You're
We
welcome.
live to give. And from Crypto Novo to all my aliens, apes, and zombies, stay positive and love life. Peace.
Peace.